Hello. Good to see you, Erin.
Good to see you. So, everyone who's watching, today I'll be interviewing one of my absolute favorite soul sisters, one of the most inspiring people
Aw.
that I've ever met.
Aw.
And let me just sort of introduce Beth Lederach. She's a celebrity in the town that we live in and that I grew up in, one of the most beloved teachers. 37 years, is it, Beth?
37 years in education.
Oh, wow. Okay. So 37 years in education, now retired. She is on her awakening journey. She sought me out. We did some quantum healing together. I don't even remember what my life was like without her. She's that special to me. And now she is following her soul and has become a spoken word poet. So today we're going to find out what is making Beth tick these days. And I guess I'll start off with just opening things up for you to talk about your spiritual awakening and whatever is comfortable for you to talk about. The good, the
Okay.
bad, and the ugly.
First of all, thank you for that kind introduction. I wouldn't be where I am right now without you, Erin, and
I'm sure you would.
randomly finding you and right down the street, 4 minutes from my home when we began working together. And so I wouldn't be where I am without you. So thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
So it just began. I would say that I was in the closet. I have a wife of 32 years, and I was in the closet for my career, essentially. I would say it was a career closet. Some of my colleagues knew, people knew we tried to live our lives, but basically I felt fear around being out as an educator at my job. And so when I retired, I moved in with my parents to take care of my mom. That was totally unanticipated, but I moved in. I went to just visit them, and then I ended up moving in with my parents, and I took care of my mom until she died. And then that sent me on this whole journey where I knew I was going to go on a journey, but then that added a great kind of beginning point to work through that grief, what she meant to me, who she was, and the empath that she was, she passed on to me. And I still have this hummingbird for my mom right there. When I see a hummingbird, I know that it's my mom. But what began was this really difficult 3-year journey of trying everything. I tried everything. Ayahuasca, mushrooms, um, just reading every spiritual book. I went through one book and then I'd find, oh, maybe this is the one. And then I went through another book and another book. And eventually I landed with QHHT that I heard about at a yoga class. And all this while I've been taking hot yoga. And when I had the QHHT, I looked it up and I looked at someone around here who might do that. And here you were, Erin, 4 minutes away from me. I kid you not. I mean, it was like, okay, that's crazy. And I started going then to that. And then that connection with you led me to another connection, Dan, and then Michelle, and then another retreat. I mean, there's so many things that fell into place, but all the while I was just trying to meditate did angel cards, I did tarot, I read about angels, I read about guides, and I was just trying to find what it was. And I still feel like, in a sense, I'm still trying to figure out where I'm headed. I mean, I've just been crying a lot for 3 years. I cried in yoga. I mean, when I started doing yoga, my hip would open. I think, things would happen in my body that were releasing all the trauma of being in the closet for 37 years. And, the meditation for me, when I look at where it was when I started to where it is now, I mean, I needed like earplugs, music, and not, there's as many ways to meditate as there are meditators, right? As you know, there's
Yeah.
no one right way. So I was trying to just find all these ways that might work for me. And when I look at where I was then with where I am now with meditation, um, I can see that I've come somewhere. I
Oh
can
yeah.
see that now. And crying with you in your sessions and just sitting there and not even knowing why I'm crying necessarily, but just letting it move through my body. And it was exhausting. Sometimes we'd spend 2, 3 hours where I would just be, I think, crying most of the time. And you would be speaking your light language and holding space for me. And you would reach out to me and you would say, well, there's, just like the most reassuring thing you'd say, I think your mom is present, or, oh, I see that this guide is there with you. And that was so reassuring to me. And it just kept me going. But I'd cry for 2 or 3 hours and I didn't even necessarily know why, but it was just getting it out of my
Yeah.
body, out of my system. And now in meditation, I'll start sitting for a while. I have no music. I like it quiet. I'm sitting with myself and I tune into my body. Like, where am I feeling something in my body right now? Like, is it my sacral? It's usually my sacral chakra.
Yeah.
And I just feel what's going on there. And I will maybe feel some discomfort. And so then I'll just stay with that. And then many times I'll just start crying. And I'll just be crying and I'm not even quite sure why sometimes. Sometimes I do know why I'm crying. I'm angry or hurt or feeling shame, but a lot of times it's just, I just let it go until I often yawn. When I yawn, it's kind of like I've integrated or
Yeah.
something at the end of it.
I'm the same way with
And
yawning. Yeah. That's a big
yeah,
sign.
yeah. And I remember the beginning, I'd be sitting there and I think, oh, it's got to be like 20 minutes. And it was maybe 4, 3.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's 30 and I don't even know how long it's been. Or I almost have a sense of, oh, that was 15 minutes. And then I look and it's like, oh, that's 15 minutes. So I just have this sense of time now that shifts when I meditate that was so different when I first started. So that's too much maybe, but
Oh
that's
no,
where
it's
it took me.
great.
That whole journey was about you crying, yoga, walking, listening to so many books about white buffalo woman, this god is this, who's connecting with me, who am I connecting with, Kuan Yin, you know white buffalo, right, who am I connecting with?
Yeah,
And it
she's
kept
been
just
here
going
lately.
from one to the other, and there was a white buffalo just born.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
I have
And so
not
there,
looked
all
at
the
that
Native
with the white
Americans were
buffalo in
there.
so
Yeah, there
long.
was a white one
Wow.
just born. So
Oh,
anyhow,
that's
I
cool.
still feel like I'm trying to find, I'm still on a search. I don't know that I'll ever stop searching.
Wow. You have changed so much since I met you. And I think that you spoke light into all that struggle that we have when we awaken and we don't know what's going on, but I resonate with this so much where you just know that you need to cry and it's letting go of why. Like, I really think that I learned that from you, Beth, because once
Hmm.
once I met you and I started doing these sessions, you were the first person that I'd met that would open up wide. It was like your whole ancestral portal was coming through your heart and you would just let it go.
Hmm.
And it's interesting. I think I did share this with you at one point, but I think that we are learning how to cry. We are learning how to fully release because all of the baggage, the ancestral baggage that are releasing, it comes with all these stories, right? Well, the stories can't just be about us anymore. It's not just about what Erin did or what Beth did. There's no way we could
Hmm.
be responsible for all of this. So we just have to learn how to open up
Yeah.
let all of the tears of our ancestors come through. And you really taught me that. In fact, when I would be in resistance to crying, when I really needed to purge, since I met you, my guides would show me you in my mind.
Oh,
Like, look at her laying in that chair, just letting it all go, just trusting that she just has to cry. Now you do that. Like, and then if I could tune into being connected to you while you were crying and letting all of that through, then I could cry. And when I would cry like that, I could feel what it felt like were just hands just pulling this
mm,
black goo out
mm,
of me. And I felt
mm,
lighter, and I would feel lighter after maybe 30 seconds of sobbing. It was almost like a fast track to instant transmutation of all of that stuff. I feel like you are
mm.
a master at opening that portal and just letting
Oh,
yourself cry. To me, it's very feminine. Like that's a very
mm,
divine feminine yin quality is just to be water, like become water,
yeah,
become tears and just let
yeah.
them, and you don't ask the tears what they're about. You
Right,
know,
right.
we don't say this is because, so and so hurt my feelings and, 1939 in that past life or whatever it is. We just
Mm-hmm.
let it through. We open it up and let it through. So I feel like
Yeah.
you maybe sometimes you might judge yourself that it's not productive or something. I think we all do that. We have like, you know, programmed shame about crying, that it somehow is defeat or you've given up or, it's not worth anything. But I feel just the opposite now. And I feel like you helped me come to that conclusion. It's a higher conclusion.
As did you help me with that. I would just let it go. Yeah, I guess part of what I don't have a problem with the crying, but there comes to a point in my meditation where I want to go like higher. Like I ground in my body, but then I do want to go higher. My higher, just connect with something. And that's always the back and forth with me of just you are where you are. Don't, impatience is the thief of joy. Just
Yeah.
be patient with yourself. This is your process. It's been 3 years. Look how far you've come, and so
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder, where am I going to be in a year with this? What's
Yeah.
going to happen? How will things evolve with just sitting with myself in the future?
I'm on that journey too. I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
Can we Can we talk about the spoken word poetry and how that came
sure.
in for you? And
Sure.
when did you realize this is what I like to do?
Well, great question. My wife took me to a slam poet competition. So slam poetry it goes pretty fast. You have 3 minutes to give your poem, and five random people in the audience judge you, 1 through 10, and then you go on to the second round or whatever. And so she took me to one of these, and as I was sitting there, I just had this overwhelming like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And so wasn't long after that I sat down and just had this download from the universe, started writing my poem, and I wrote first poem I ever did was about my 37-year English teaching career. No whiskey could clear my disabling fear they'd find out I was queer. That was the first stanza that I wrote, and it just went from there. First poem ever.
Is that the one
So
you're doing
Lori,
today?
my wife Lori, took me to one, and I said, I want to do that. And then it's been ever
Ooh,
since. So
okay.
yeah.
Can we hear? Is that the one you're going to perform?
No, that's not the one I was going to do because that's one of my favorite ones. But I told a lot about that. I think that story is okay just from what I said. I want to do the one, it's called The Surface That We See. And if I could just have a quick intro to it, is that I have this ongoing challenge. I don't want to say battle. I don't want to say issue. I don't want to say problem. I want to say it's an ongoing challenge to um, live in this body, but also know that there's this soul that is beyond this body and is infinite. and that there's this light inside of you that is not your body. It's all though mixed together. And
Yeah.
so I just really been exploring um, the very first line of the poem. I'll just go ahead and do it. Should I just go ahead and just bust out with it right now?
So this is Beth Lederach performing her spoken word poetry for us. I'm so excited. Here she comes. Here's our drum roll coming.
What if what we see would only be what lies beneath? If the surface didn't matter, it might silence all the chatter. No one would say that she's too skinny. No gender judgment of fluidity. No gossip of his girth or rank. How many clams are in his bank? No finger-pointed rants about a body that was trans. Race would never interfere with equal access to health care. The colors of our skin unknown, just recognized as rainbow tones. No physical rejection to deter the heart's expression. So all that would remain is a gathering refrain of a song on high terrain, sung on universal soul terrain. What if all the names attached to our frames fell upon our ears the same? No ethnic denigration, no stereotype summation, no mispronunciation. What if the doors to all religions had no dogma of division, but held the simple given that we all get into heaven? What if country borderlines were permanently vaporized, so everyone could freely roam on any land and call it home? Below the borders of our birth, it's all just planet Earth. My soul has traveled lifetimes before choosing to climb into the body that you see bound to earth and gravity. It might go on 100 years before I free my final tears, and every day could be my last. The future quick becomes the past. But when I sit inside my skin, it is then that I begin to rise above the human din and know that I am infinite. While life sometimes is deafening drama to fulfill contractual karma, it is all designed for learning of a truth within us stirring. That if you could truly see me, honor my potentiality, not a body, just a whisper, my identity, Miss or Mister, and I could truly see you as a galaxy imbued without a human code, just an energy I feel and know, then we'd both be free as one sweet entity in a life-giving sea. We'd sail beyond our bodies, borders, and religion, far from hate and all derision. We'd remember what was written long before this script we live in. Common is our history, one set of roots, our family tree, from trunk to leaves, one progeny, our bodies, one humanity, yet so much more than what we see. How about we see all of us as kindred souls we love and trust? Namaste.
Namaste. Ooh. Beth, Beth, Beth.
So that was my soul body journey, you know. This is
Thank
the
you.
body that you see. There's no other way to see me. When I see someone, what do? Do I sum them up? Do I size them up right away when I see them?
Yeah.
What if we just could see the soul and be free of the body? You know birds. You know blue avian. I think I'm in the blue avian family somewhere.
You
But
are.
just be able to just fly. So I think
It is so hard to be in your
so
body.
yeah.
What what a beautiful expression. I mean, what if
So that's
we all studied that poem in sixth grade? What if it was
yeah.
required reading and teaching? Because I just feel like every theme of freedom and inclusion and tolerance and light and beauty is contained in that poem. That's like, I don't think that anybody who hears that spoken word poem is not going to integrate some of it. It's just going to
Mhm.
speak to too many parts of us as human beings and as beings, you know, even the
Mhm.
non-human part of us, the part of us that is just soul, that is just light. And
Thank you.
thank you for sharing it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for like opening up that part of your soul to gift it to us because
Yeah.
that's what I feel it is. I feel it's a gift. And the very first time I ever heard you speak any of your poems, I don't know if that was the first one I heard
I
or
think it was a 37-year English teaching
okay,
career. Yeah.
okay. That was, I mean, I got the tingles all over and I just thought, like, I just kind of thought, wow, that wants to be broadcast. It's like the universe sent something through you and you agreed to be the birther, like the birth mother of
Mm.
that
Mm.
creation. Like
And
it
that's
has a
that's
life of its own, and you are the birther, the curator,
mm.
the protector, the broadcaster of it. That was how I felt when I first heard you do spoken word poetry. And every single one that I've heard you do is equally as inspired and
Mm.
inspiring. And it has this energy
Thanks.
and this life within it. It's like pure life force energy
Mm. Thank
when it
you.
hit.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
that.
and thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I guess I'm interested in knowing what does it feel like when you're writing them? Is it like writing a letter to somebody? Is it like writing a story, or does it come through in some other way? What does it feel like in your body when you are writing that? When you're channeling? I feel like is it channeling?
A little bit. It's strange. I felt like at the beginning there were these things just coming to me, coming through, and I would work on them for a few days, but it was moving enough that I could get it down there. And then it's been kind of increasingly more work. Like it doesn't feel as inspired. And I feel that, um, I have a lot of poems, and when people hear them, they seem to like them. But for me, they don't feel the same as when I first started. And I'm in meditation, I'm asking for, that kind of creativity. If it's meant to be, it'll come to me. And so
Mhm.
I'm thinking, I'm looking at ideas, I'm thinking, what? And then I just try to pay attention to something that says, write a poem about this. I had a dream one time, and this woman from the Rogue Festival just came right in front of my face right before woke up, and she said, write something funny. And I'd written all these just serious poems. And so I just sat down and wrote something stupid. And it's fun when it's rolling like that. But it's
Yeah.
almost like it's not fun. It's like you're forcing it or something. Like it's just not quite coming together. And so I'm not quite sure what makes a difference. I think a good topic, something that I really feel in my soul.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a lot of work though. It takes days. I don't just like churn it out. It's done. I'm crafting it, this little word here and there, for a long time, like a few days, especially if there's like a competition coming up, then I feel a little more rushed because I like to memorize them before I perform them.
And what
Uh,
about the
so,
competitive aspect of it, Beth? Like, has
hmm,
that come in and stomped all over the creative fun, or is that somehow motivating? What does it feel like to be judged? Like on having a judge panel watch your work like that?
Yeah, and it's just five random people, you know. I mean, they just like volunteer. Sometimes it's their first slam event. It's like, oh, you be a judge, you know, and they don't say much about it. And then a lot of times people are just they're seriously on their phone like this, reading their poem off of their phone in front of people. And so for me, as a you know, I as a listener, that's fine. I mean, everybody is different. That's the thing. You just got to do what you do. I do what I do. But since I've started this, though, and people have heard the poems, I would start getting invitations to do those poems at like a gathering or something, or for a show. And that was much more meaningful to me to go and do my poems for that. Like it's just a receptive audience that just wants me to, do a poem for them, like this right here.
Yeah.
Nobody's judging me, no competition. And then, of course, my own stuff is, I mean, I won a lot of them. I mean, I just won. And then I would always feel like I did not deserve to win.
Hmm.
And then if I didn't win, I was kind of disappointed that I didn't win. So there you go. How's that for never being happy,
You
right?
go, never be happy either way,
you know?
right?
So, yeah, so the competition thing has become, I don't do them every time. Sometimes I'll just kind of sit and listen and say, I think I got a new poem to do. I'll try to do this one. But like there's one this July. I'm not going to compete on that Friday. So I don't do it every time just because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But if somebody, like they've started asking me to write poems for something, like Jerry Dyer, Jerry Dyer, the mayor of
Yeah.
Fresno. Robin asked me to write a poem about Jerry Dyer. And I said, I don't even know the guy. I mean, I said, I'll just sit with it for a few days and see what happens. Well, a poem came together and it went really well at that event. And I
I
had it
love
memorized.
that. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that I was crying about a poem to Jerry Dyer. Isn't he can you say who he is?
He's the mayor of Fresno now.
Okay. Yeah. Now.
Yeah, he is now. And then I had another friend that she is in CEO of Reading and Beyond. And so I wrote a poem for one of her events about reading. And so that one I actually really liked a lot. But it wasn't for a competition. It was just,
I would love to hear that one sometime. Is that on your website?
I think I did it at a competition one time. Yeah. But it's a good poem. I like that poem. That actually is one of my good ones. Let's see. Do I have that one right here? Yeah,
I would
it's called, I named it Words. Yeah, it's about just the importance of reading and words in my life, what it's meant, what reading can do for you to be able to read. Not everybody can read, and it's kind of my life's career was
Is it too
words.
long to perform right now or
No, I don't think so. If you want to hear it, I would be
oh,
happy
I
to do
really
it.
want to hear it. I really want to hear it if you have time.
Okay, really? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so this I may need to be looking at the words.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, in front of me. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to do this. I'll do any thing you want me to do, Erin. You just say it. I'll do it for you. Anything.
I,
I owe you so
thank
much.
you for indulging me on this one. I just really want to hear the reading poem.
Okay, so this one, it's called Words.
Okay.
I was born into a home that transformed all I know. The walls with language echoed and brought light into the shadows. Reverberating words around me served to set me free. And the first ones I perceived were love, learn, and read. Read was a seed planted deep inside my being, forever steering my trajectory through vicissitudes of destiny, filling my directory, fostering my empathy, forging my identity, everything that makes me me. How does it occur? What once was a blur takes shape in our thinking and suddenly has meaning. It's a miracle happening when tiny lines become wings that float off a page on a wind to our brains and then rearrange into words that we know with stories to behold. A parade of individual letters that come together, free from the fetters of isolation, to march hand in hand as words in one band. Then with spaces and connections, sentenced to paragraphs of pure fascination, destinations of imagination, complicated ramifications, investigations and interpretations, love and fateful implications, foibles, flaws, and reconciliation, life in all its paradoxical glorification. Words are prayers that lift us where we can dare to dream of a life beyond what is here. Everyone deserves to be loved and to learn, to read and yearn for more than they see, free to be all they'd be if given the attention. For cognitive connections and word recognition, for creative compositions, communication, liberation, reflective, revelations, inspired innovation, aspirations without limitations, all through the comprehension of the world of the written. Reading is the opportunity and purest possibility for children and their families to thrive in a community, to live a life untethered by what might keep them down forever. It is our human bond to bring words to every dawn. Let the ABCs be dropped, not bombs. Our book's 1,000 pages strong when everyone can read, and to literacy belong.
Ooh,
That's my words poem.
wow.
So there you go.
Even your poem about words makes me cry. So I just feel the life in it and I feel the genius in it. I think this is a very special kind of genius that you have.
You're so
And
kind.
it's just so beautiful. Thank you for sharing it.
Thank you for
Oh,
listening.
I was going to ask you, before we wrap up, um, about challenges, but you've done such a great job of opening up your vulnerable self, and you already kind of integrated in your conversation about the spiritual awakening what has been challenging for you. I think that you're forthright when it comes to that. You're very honest. But are there any challenges that you're facing currently or have faced in your awakening that you haven't spoken about, that you can imagine possibly, or even tap into our spiritual family audience who will be watching you and connect to your heart and just speak on some of the things that were harder for you in the last 3 years? And you can even go back in time if you
Mm-hmm.
want, about things that challenged Beth, growing up,
Yeah.
or it could even be yesterday. But I just
Mm-hmm.
have a feeling that there's somebody out there who needs to hear your message.
Well, I think that when you go on this journey of awakening, it affects relationships around you.
Yeah.
It can't help but just affect relationships, and then those relationships become part of the journey to move you forward on the journey. Whatever challenges come up within relationships, your primary relationship, your friends, your family, and it can feel lonely, I think, because it's like I'm working on myself and this journey, and to some outsider they might say that's kind of odd, like that seems a little off, like that's kind of weird what you were talking about right there, like I'm not familiar, and it's not in their frame of reference.
Right.
And that's not good or bad, it's just I'm on this journey, and I'm really the only one that can do it for myself. I have incredible support around me, but I'm the one who has to sit there and cry. I'm the one that has to, find time to give to myself, to just sit with myself and not be impatient, not wish. You can't wish your life away. You can't wish, I wish something, I wish this, I mean, you can't wish your life away. So without wishing for something different, that becomes a challenge for me because I want more. I
Yeah.
want something more in my journey. And I keep the best thing I can do for myself, I keep coming back to is trust the universe. Just trust the universe, the people that love you, your guides, Erin, other people. Just trust that it's all working in your favor and that it's at your pace, what you are doing. Just keep on the journey. Just keep on the journey. But I can get impatient and want more. And I'm like, just be present. This is where you are today. You're not speaking light language. You may never speak like light language. I may never physically see guides in a room with me, but I've felt the synchronicities, incredible synchronicities on the journey where I can't believe that that's showing up right now, or that this poem so that's all present at the same time that I am longing for something more. Does that make sense? And
Yeah.
that sounds terrible and greedy, but remember, I'm just being honest with coming back to myself and being patient and trusting the universe that I'm on the journey I'm supposed to be on, with setbacks, with moving forward, with setbacks, with moving forward.
You
Does that
are
make any
speaking
sense?
to my soul right now. You are
Does that
speaking
make sense?
to, yes. I mean, if maybe the one person that needed to hear your message today was me, I do believe there will be others, but you are speaking about exactly what I've been feeling lately. Really, really just concurrent with my whole spiritual journey. But that
Mm,
message about it feeling lonely, I mean, I'm resonating with that so much right now that absolutely nobody is going to come and just pluck my shadow away. I am living with this part of myself that often feels really, really terrible.
mm,
And sometimes I will wake up in the morning and feel dread waking up with that part of myself that is very out, active. And that feeling that you have that you sometimes just want to fly out of your body and fly away from it. Sometimes I wish that I could fly back into my dream where that part of me isn't sitting here waiting for me to wake up. Because that
mm-hmm,
part of me lives in my body. That is the cellular memory. That is the ancestral and generational trauma. That's the part of me that lives in this body as, emotional blockage and all of the things
mm-hmm,
that we
mm-hmm.
are really starting to unearth in ourselves. And so this
Yeah.
journey of living with that part of yourself and also this other higher self, or the light in you, the presence that is just eternal and always there. It is this constant dance with, these different aspects of ourself. And it is
Yeah,
can be
absolutely.
a real challenge. So you are speaking to me, and I thank you for, being vulnerable and talking about that. It's, I think we need to talk about that more in the community where people will understand it. That you can't just go out and share all of your inner work with your family is exactly the way I feel about my life too. That
Mm-hmm,
there are some places where I can share this part of my journey with you, in particular, but I'm not just going to go talk to my mom about it. I can't talk to my sister about it. Like, there are
right.
people that, you know, just because we were born into our biological family doesn't mean they're going to be going on the journey with us.
Right,
It
right.
can
That's
feel very
exactly right.
lonely. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
the loneliness of this journey, I feel that with you. Thank you for speaking that out publicly on this platform for others to connect to as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you, Beth.
But then talking to people like you, that kind of um it makes it feel like you're not crazy, you
Yes,
know, to
it's
talk to
validating.
have these guides, people in your life like you that can just sit down and just take, like, you'll take just take my hand and just hold my hand and just speak something to me. And it just calms my spirit and my soul. And sometimes, you'll see a hawk and you'll send me a little video or something. And I just listen to it again and again. I'm like, it just calms my soul. And it makes you feel less alone when you have one or two people that kind of get it.
Yeah,
That's why this is important, just to have a little community.
that is exactly right. And, we're forming community. And I think that that's one of the wonderful things about YouTube as well, is that when when you find a channel or there's somebody speaking that you resonate with, that's your family right there. If you don't have that
Yeah,
family at home, Beth
right.
Lederach is your family. I am your family. You don't have
Right.
anybody, you are not alone. You do
Yeah,
have someone. So that's
that's
why
true.
we're
Yeah.
here bringing this to this platform, because you are not actually alone, but we both know how lonely this can feel. And when we
Yeah.
all talk about how lonely it can feel, then guess what? Now it's a party.
Yeah. Right. You are not alone. Trust the universe that is taking care of all of it. It's all working out in your favor. And if you look back and see how far you've come, I mean, it's just a journey.
It really
Can't
is.
believe where I am from 3 years ago to now. I mean, it's just like
Yeah,
amazing.
and we have walked through some misery together. I mean, we have put on
Yes, we have.
our big wellies and we have tracked through the mud together, Beth, but
Yes, we have.
there's nobody else I'd rather be wading through mud with than you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here with me on this journey.
Love it. Love
It's
you.
been a wild ride and there's lots more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see what happens, right?
Yes, and I hope you'll come on again because I'd like to talk to you more, hear more of your spoken word poetry, talk to you more. Oh, I wanted to even talk about the crow and wolf. I don't even know if is that a topic that you want to talk about because that's such a happy place for me, like where we've been meeting lately. I mean, that place
Yeah,
is full of your
I love
energy.
Crow and Wolf, man. I've written a slam poem for Crow and Wolf that I'm
Oh my
still
God.
working on.
Okay,
I
well,
haven't done
next
it yet.
time,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
haven't I haven't done it yet. It's not done,
I want to book
but
you on my channel to perform the Crow and Wolf poem, and I will get a t-shirt. And I am going there for my 50th birthday, and I will have a t-shirt, and I'd love for you to do the poem for the channel.
Aw. Okay, well, that would I just love that place. It's like I love all the servers. It's like your own Cheers. Everybody knows your name. You go in there. It's just like I don't know. It's just my happy place. One of
It
my
is
happy
like
places.
yours, it's one of my happy places too, and I don't go out a lot, but that place is amazing. They have like I could easily get addicted to their bubbly water with the CBD in it. I mean, that is just
Yeah,
brilliant. They have like a flavor for everything. All of the kids, I'm going to call them kids because they feel like
yeah,
kids to me, but the kids behind the bar, they're in their 20s, but
yeah.
I don't know what kind of a personality test they needed to go through to get there, but aren't they just all so lovely?
They're they're charming. They're just
Oh
charming
my
and
God.
lovely. I love everybody there at that place.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
do have they have non-alcoholic drinks. That's the thing, like you said, the CBD, the seltzer. I mean,
I mean, I love my
you
beers
can
too.
bring your kids, you can bring your
Yeah.
dog.
And they have
And
games, and I'm really looking forward to the karaoke that I've never gotten to do there. So
yeah, karaoke night.
yeah, we're gonna need to have
That's so
another
great. You
poem.
ask about Crow and Wolf. Oh, and
I have
I'm in the
actually written
Alpha. I'm
down.
an Alpha Club member now. I got my mug.
Ooh, I need to get one too. Well, it
You have to
was
get
on
on the
my
waiting
list.
list.
Oh my gosh, get on the waiting list. Okay. Well, we'll have to have another Crow and Wolf meet up soon. I'll see you there soon. Your Cheers, your Norm of the Crow and Wolf. You're Beth. And every time you walk through there, I just see you're just like lit from within, and there are like, these sparkles coming off of you, and everyone's like, Beth. I don't know. I just see you just vibing in that place, like helping to set the vibration, getting everybody all pumped. I don't know. It's a
No,
really great Beth place.
it is. And it's Crow. Talk about being an avian, right? It's
Yeah.
Crow. And wolf, you have the
Yeah.
grounding and you have the sky. I mean,
Oh,
kind of right up my alley.
yes, it is. Oh my gosh. I love you
Okay,
so much. Thank you for doing this with me. And next time we'll just, we'll talk about your Crow and Wolf poem and whatever else is on our minds. And I just appreciate the heck out of you for doing this. This is kind of experimental because we haven't done this format before, but I think we did pretty well.
it was great. It's so great to see you. I'd do anything for you, Erin.
Same here. Same here. I'll talk to you
I love
soon.
you and I appreciate you.
I love you and I appreciate you. Namaste.